I don't always like to talk to negative topics when it comes to video games. I think it's way more enjoyable to cover things I'm currently enjoying or things I'm looking forward to. But today I want to talk a little about something I've been kind of being annoyed by the last couple of months, and that's the dramatic shift of attention Nintendo has taken away from the N64 app on Nintendo Switch Online. This app released all the way back in October of 2021, and admittedly, it does have a great selection of games to try out. Came out strong with 9 releases at launch with classics like Mario 64 and Zelda Ocarina of Time, and some more niche titles like Sin and Punishment and Winback. And over the next year, another 10 or so great games were added, and this app was really holding up its worth and the added cost of the expansion pack in my opinion. But since then, the addition of new titles has really slowed down. The last 5 games added have been Mario Party, Mario Party 2, GoldenEye, which was a cool surprise, and then Pokemon Stadium, and then most recently this month, Pokemon Stadium 2. These are fun games, sure, but if we're being honest, it's not a great showing for the last 10 months or so. If you aren't a Mario Party fan or a Pokemon Stadium fan, it's really just GoldenEye. Back in September of last year, Nintendo showed this graphic on a trailer for NSO, and I thought for sure this was just some of the games coming. And sure, they snuck GoldenEye in there, which is neat, but is this really all the output they can actually muster? 8 games? And if you break it down to not include sequels to other games, 5 games? It is clear the attention has shifted away from N64, but as much as I love the Game Boy Advance and its offerings, I don't think that should stand as a substitute for adding more Nintendo 64 games. This is still a part of the service that people were excited for and signed up for, and now I feel like it's taken such a backseat, I'm not sure if we'll ever get games like Donkey Kong 64 or Smash Brothers. Like, how is Super Smash Brothers not on there? One of their most iconic and best-selling franchises having its original release available for people to play with the online functionality sounds like a slam dunk to me. I mean, they've already done it with Mario Kart 64, why not Smash Brothers? And speaking of Mario Kart 64, I really need them to add the actual best kart racer of the N64, Diddy Kong Racing. Sure, maybe there's some licensing issues with all the rare characters, Banjo, Conker, this rooster guy, maybe, I don't know. But they figured it out for GoldenEye. They figured it out for Banjo-Kazooie. It just seems so odd to me that where they seem to arbitrarily draw the line on what gets released and when. I mean, there's 20 some odd games on here. Why not just add another handful of the classics people want to make it that much more desirable? You don't need to save Smash 64 for a rainy day release in 2024, that's just silly. I guess my main complaint is Nintendo knows the games they have on their shortlist to add, obviously. Nintendo also knows when they plan out to roll other future services and offerings to NSO, at least for the most part I'm assuming. So if you knew all along the GBA was going to take the front seat, why not get all the N64 games in there just before dropping that console altogether? Look, I've got plenty of games to play. Nintendo Switch Online mainly acts as a supplement to all the new games I'm enjoying, Nintendo or otherwise. But it's not the point I'm getting at. I'm paying for this service, and many others are as well. I think there needs to be some sort of consistency or clarity on the release schedule here. I think Nintendo Switch Online is worth the money, personally, between all the different systems giving dozens and dozens of hours of entertainment, but this new subscription path is a relationship that needs to be constant attention from the company. I may not be itching to play games on NSO every week, but that's Nintendo's job to keep me interested. Give me a game to try on each system at least once a month. Make it an event like how PlayStation puts their PS Plus games out at the beginning of every month. Bring back the special versions of games that used to be on the SNES app where you could put in a cool situation in a game with endgame items and equipment and just let me jump in and have fun. Get weird with it. Sometimes it just feels like Nintendo's gotten bored of Nintendo Switch Online, and the effort has really slowed down from what I can see. I mean, the newest app is the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance apps, and the Game Boy Advance app has like 11 games on it, 4 of which are Mario games already playable on the cheaper version of the service with the Super Nintendo. I want to be critical here because I've loved playing Nintendo games since before I could even read. I don't like seeing Nintendo themselves get in the way of letting me play their games. Just put Smash 64 in there. Where's the harm? I'm not going to consider not picking up the next Smash Brothers because this almost 25-year-old game is available on the subscription service. I don't think there will come a day where I don't love playing these games and want to revisit them, and it just thinks that I'm now forced to wait on Nintendo's drip feed of their games at their weirdly slow pace, and there's no virtual console to buy these games anymore. It's this, emulating, or trying to hunt down games secondhand, which is sometimes not ideal. And just from a pure business standpoint, Nintendo makes $0 if they force me to emulate or go find a used copy of an old game. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this negative video becomes a silly, outdated complaint here in a couple months, and I'm just left here sitting with egg on my face. But I gotta be honest, I don't have much hope for that. If you have games you think should come to Nintendo Switch Online that you've been waiting on, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. The main ones I've mentioned were Smash 64 and Diddy Kong Racing, but I'll give Donkey Kong 64 a go if and when they add that as well. If you want to see me cover some other games through videos where I'm generally more positive, consider subscribing. I make it a goal to try to get at least one video out a week, whether that be a review, some sort of podcast, or a random video like this. I also want to be more consistent on the streaming side, so maybe look forward to that as well. With all that being said, thanks again for watching. See you next time.